Hello my friends, welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I'm Christine, your host, and today we are working on a full day of a Keto-Carnivore menu. So we've talked last couple weeks about my transition to really being more Keto-Carnivore to really help the neuropathy in my legs, and it has really made a big difference. But then people ask me, so what is it that you eat? So I thought today I would show you. So we're gonna start out with some scrambled eggs. We're gonna get 3 eggs into this little blender. I like to tap them against each other or on a flat surface. You never wanna go on the side of the bowl because that's how you're gonna get those shells. And these are wonderful eggs that I got from the farmer's market. It really makes a difference if you look at how, you probably can't see, but how really yellow those yolks are. Huge difference. All right, so we're gonna hit that with some salt. That's Celtic sea salt and some black pepper. Now the difference between keto and carnivore typically means that you're using some kind of a cheese and that you use spices. A strict carnivore uses just meat, eggs, chicken, that kind of thing, with just butter or olive oil or whatever. But for me, this gives me a little more flexibility and I'm having good results with it. I'm gonna use 1 slice of pepper jack cheese. I'm just gonna fold it in quarters and throw it in there. And then I'm gonna take 1 tablespoon of cottage cheese. That's gonna give it a little fluff, and it's also gonna up the protein, which if you know anything, you want fat and protein in your keto carnivore journey. So I'll go ahead and do that. The goal is to reduce the inflammatory response and level out your insulin. So that is what I've been trying to do, because as in neuropathy, inflammation is a problem. So sometimes my ankles swell up, sometimes my knees swell up. Behind my knees, I have varicose veins and they're often throb. So I'm really trying to find a natural way to deal with that because I really don't want to go on medicine. So we don't need a lot of mixing. We just want to pull it together very quickly. So I'm not trying to beat it up a whole lot. You could do it with a fork as well. It doesn't incorporate the cheese as well, which is why I'm using the blender, which doesn't seem to want to go on. There we go. And just like that, we're done. All right, so just enough to incorporate that cheese, and then we're good. All right, so we're gonna get a pan and some butter, and I'll show you what to do. I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil and some butter in this pan. I really don't want them to stick, and as I said, the key to keto carnivore is having healthy fat. So olive oil and butter are just fine. I'm using Kerrygold butter, which is a grass-fed butter, and it's from Ireland. It's delicious. So I'm gonna move this over so you can see the pan. We're letting that melt butter. And then we are going to just keep it on a gentle heat. So it's a 4 out of 10 heat. This is an induction oven. It tends to need some lower temperatures. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in. Don't fret if you have a little chunk of cheese. It will get in there, no problem. Now, the thing about scrambled eggs is people always want to go fast, but going slow is actually better. So we're just gonna let that sit until small curds start to form around the outside. We're gonna push everything to the center. So this actually takes a few minutes, and that's okay. So while it's doing that, oops, sorry about that camera work. While it's doing that, we are going to go ahead and prep our lunch. And our lunch is gonna be done in the air fryer. Now I use my air fryer a ton because I really like the fact that it is easy. I don't have to really preheat it or do anything, and it does a great job. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is prep our chicken. So I've got a nice big bowl here, and I've got my chicken tenders. And I'm gonna go ahead and open the package. Now there's a lot of controversy. Clean your chicken, don't clean your chicken, contamination, all that good stuff. So if your chicken is clean already, if you look and it's not visibly has any spots or whatever, I think it's fine to just take it out of the package and do that. In all the restaurants we've ever worked at, I've never had anybody really concerned about that. Now if you want to, you can marinate this in some buttermilk and tenderize it, but today we're just going as is. So I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. We'll get some tongs. raise this up a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna hit it with some olive oil, just a little zhuzh, some Italian seasoning. And I like quite a bit of Italian seasoning because I want it to have some flavor. Some sea salt. This is Redmond sea salt. Some pepper. And then I drained a can of artichoke hearts. So we're gonna add that to the chicken. And we're gonna give it a good toss. Good. We're gonna load that right into the air fryer. So we wanna make a single layer as best we can. You might have some overlap and that's not a really big deal, but because I usually give it a shake about halfway through. And then the air fryer does all of the work, which we love. Now you could add some Parmesan cheese on top if you want a little extra flavor, but for me, this just works. It's just perfect. The acidity of the artichokes really helps give a little extra flavor. If you didn't have artichokes or you don't like artichokes, absolutely you can just leave them out. And you could add a drizzle of like apple cider vinegar. All right, so we're gonna set that aside here. I'm gonna put this in my air fryer over here, and we're gonna set it on air fry 390 for 20 minutes. I like my chicken done, and I want it to have that little bit of crispiness. Now let's bring you over here and we're gonna take a look at those eggs. Ooh, here we go. My camera is on wheels so that it moves. But sometimes it doesn't want to behave. Okay, so you can just see it starting to come together. Don't worry if there's a little bit of stickiness. You try not to get a lot of color on this, but if you get a little bit, it's not gonna kill anything. The color usually comes from the cheese versus the eggs starting to get some nice little curd. Now I actually really like using cast iron for everything really, but I took a minute to re-season my cast iron so it wasn't quite ready. So that's good. Now if you wanted to add more cheese, you could go ahead and melt cheese on the top, but this should be good for me. So we'll go ahead and plate that up. And you'll see it makes quite a bit. And typically I'd have a few slices of bacon with that. So there you go. That's breakfast. You can see how nice and steamy it is because we cook in real time. All right, so let that chicken cook and we're gonna prep our lunch. I said lunch, but I meant dinner because our chicken is for lunch. Okay, so we are going to make some burgers and this is gonna be very simple. And I always cook more than I need because then I can have it. So if I didn't feel like eggs in the morning, I could have a burger in the morning. It's very flexible. Okay, these are just 70-30 burgers because I want that good fat. And I'm gonna salt them with some good sea salt, very generously. And then I'm gonna give them some good ground pepper. And I'll do so on the other side once they go on the grill. Now I prefer to use the Forma grill or the flat top grill because I like them to get that char, like that real crusty on the outside, so I really like that. Okay, now I used to use these Creole seasonings and Lowry seasonings, but when I started looking at the ingredient labels, I found ingredients that I didn't want. Things like palm oil, things like, you know, just ingredients you don't recognize. You don't want to do that. Stick to single ingredients. It makes all the difference in the world. Not only have I lost weight, but my whole family's lost weight by me changing this way. So give yourself a break. You don't have to count the calories and you don't have to count the macros. All you're trying to do is make sure you get your protein and fat in there. So as a lifelong struggle with my weight and somebody who did macros and taught macros for about 6 years, this is something different for me. And it was a little bit hard to get used to. but I decided to trust the process, and it's been well worth it. All right, my Foreman grill has been heated up, so we're gonna go ahead and put just 2 patties on first. And I'm gonna go ahead with my clean hand and salt the other patty and give the other side rather, and then salt and pepper, and just keep it simple. So these will be done in no time. I'll come back, I'll show you what the chicken looks like, I'll show you what the burgers look like. Ooh, I'm getting a little steamy in here. All right, it's been 2 minutes. We're just gonna flip them over. And I like to flip them so that the grid is changed. It goes a minute more, depending on what you like, how done you like them. And then we'll be done with those. The chicken has 3 more minutes. And just like that, I've got food for a couple of days. All right, keep going. One more tip, when you have trouble getting your cheese to melt, just cover it with a lid. Doesn't matter if it's on the grill, off the grill, in a pan, in a bowl, however you want to do it. Just cover it, and just a minute covering it will melt that cheese perfectly. All right, that is good enough for me. We'll take those off and we'll add our other 2 on, and we'll keep on trucking. Let's take a look at the full day. So we have our scrambled eggs with cottage cheese and pepper jack cheese, and then I usually have some blueberries on the side. You could add avocado, you could have bacon, whatever you like. The objective of this is to really eat until you're full. Once you're full, just stop eating. It's all good. For lunch, I have this chicken with artichokes after it was done in the air fryer, 20 minutes at 390. Then I hit it with some Parmesan cheese on top. It is delicious. So let's give it a nice close-up look of that. And then for dinner, I have my cheeseburgers, and I usually top them with some bacon. Sometimes I do some grilled onion. Sometimes I do pickles on the side. I love dill pickles, and dill pickles are really gut friendly. So you have to decide what's gonna work for you, but it should be very protein and fat centric, and that's really gonna help heal your body and help you get that excess weight off. So think of our ancestors and how they hunted and how they were able to get whatever is fresh and whatever is available to them to eat, and then they would stop eating when they didn't need anymore, and they would save it for another time. That's the concept that we're working with, and it has been working wonderfully for me. Now my neuropathy is still a problem. I'm not gonna lie, it's not gone, but it is a lot better than it was. I did do my heart checkup. All my numbers are great, and there was no calcification of my heart, which is a big problem in my family. It's what my father died of, and 2 of his brothers, and my cousins, and so forth. So that was something I really needed to check on. And then my thyroid is good, all my cholesterol is good, all the health markers were great. So that leads me to believe I'm in the right direction, and hopefully it will get better soon. I hope you have found this helpful, and if you would, please subscribe. It is free, and share with your friends, and make sure that you comment. If you have any questions, I'm always here to answer them. I wish you a wonderful and blessed day, and I will be with you again. Much love.